Even when I've just added the first few details of charcoal to the canvas, I know at that point that I probably committed the next few weeks, even months, of my life to this painting.
I think you can look at any portrait painter's work in the past and see almost a diary of their life. Certainly with my own work, I can look at any piece that I've done and know exactly where I was at the time. My first painting I did when I was 11 years old of my mother, I can remember that like it was yesterday. When you spend a month or longer on a painting, that tends to stay with you, I think. Very often I choose someone to paint just because they have an interesting face or their expression has a story to tell. Some of the most interesting people I've met have been through playing music. A few years ago I decided I wanted to develop the way in which I presented my portraits by adding a film to allow the viewer to see more of a backstory of their lives. I wanted this to run parallel with the development of the painting, so presenting a more in-depth portrait. The second idea was to travel in order to make these films. I started the Grand Tour of Italy in the north, specifically the city of Turin. The Grand Tour was originally a pilgrimage through Italy made by gentlemen and aristocrats around the 17th and 18th century. Many artists, writers and poets kept journals and sketchbooks documenting their experiences. I want this series to document my own experiences by painting and filming the varied characters I meet on my travels. Travelling through Italy is an obvious choice for me. As well as having a deep personal and artistic connection here, I'm constantly fascinated by this country. Even though Italy has an ancient history, it's still a relatively young country. Before this, it was a collection of cities and states, each with its own culture and traditions. I want my portraits to reflect how these traditions affect the lives of Italians living and working here now. The Italian people have been so welcoming to us so far and really let us into their lives. I love the fact that all this technology is available to me living in this time now to make these films. But these Painted Lives films are about just that, painting portraits, which is putting paint on canvas, just like I did when I did my first painting when I was 11 and just like my predecessors did before me for hundreds of years.